Hey, what's going on, guys? TalkNorwichCity here, back for another video. The second video in a row of me sitting at this lovely desk with, by the way, an envelope that I've written my notes on. I used to get an A4 bit of paper, but I thought, why not save the trees and use some envelopes that have come through? And actually, a perfect way to jot down notes. Yeah, it was Norwich 0, Bolton 0 at the weekend, and you may be wondering why there weren't any videos. Well, late on Friday, I got offered a job to basically direct, which I'd never done before, the output for different sources. So the video is captured through the cameras and I'm basically picking the best shots and putting it through a vision mixer. So I was up on the gantry and watching the game through 4 different cameras, trying to work out which shot to use. So it was very odd. It was a very strange way of watching football. I was listening to Chris Gorham's commentary because we were having to feed the audio through for the pictures. So it was very odd watching the game live and also having Chris's commentary because I've never done that before. It was also very odd not sitting in my seat, but it was a great experience and it was one that I just had to take. So there were no videos, Chris was there as normal, and to be honest, I didn't really miss that much, did I? It was 0-0 and unfortunately, an all too similar kind of pattern of play really at home this season. We've been so good away from home, and you just think if we would have been even a tiny bit better at home this season, we'd probably be knocking around the playoffs. But I think the playoff dream is over now. After Wolves, I did think, well, there might be a slight chance, especially with this run of fixtures we've got. It was Bolton and then Barnsley, and then I think, is it Hull or Forest, something like that. 4 winnable games really, and 4 games you have to be winning if you want to be getting in the playoffs. But I thought first half we were fairly decent against Bolton. We created chances, something we've struggled with at home this season. I think the width that Onel Hernandez gave us was good. I've been really impressed with Hernandez actually since he's joined. He was the one player out of Sabreni, Leitner, and of course Hernandez that I wasn't overly convinced about. But now I think Hernandez is probably, except for Leitner, been one of the best players, and we haven't seen as much of Dennis Sabreni as I thought we maybe would. But the bits we have seen at Wolves on Wednesday night, I think he's been okay. So it's been an interesting one. I think the width that, as I said, Hernandez gave us and Murphy allowed Nelson to play where he should be. You guys know from watching the podcast, from watching my match reviews, my biggest frustration this season has probably been Nelson dropping so deep and going out wide. And it's not all his fault. I think the system has let him down at times, but I felt he was a lot more direct and I felt he was in a lot more better shooting positions to hopefully score, and he came so close on a couple of occasions. So I think that worked. We looked a lot more fluid going forward. It also allowed Maddison to float a little bit more in that hole that, you know, he operates so well from. Tete wasn't overly convinced with him. His passing was slightly astray, but I thought Leitner was brilliant, and that was the big chance, wasn't it? Moritz Leitner, one-on-one. He's got so much time. A lovely little ball in from Nelson, who made a few great passes, actually. He made a good pass into Murphy as well, didn't he? And yeah, you put your mortgage on Moritz Leitner scoring from there, and it wasn't to be. Maddison hit the post. The keeper made a cracking save off Nelson, a really good save actually. That's two home games in a row where Nelson's been unlucky not to score. Hanley misses a header. Murphy gets a fantastic tackle for, I think it was David Wheater, wasn't it? And we go so close to scoring then. So it wasn't like we didn't create chances, and you expect us to then come out and do the same in the second half, but for whatever reason we didn't. I think Bolton was slightly more defensive. I think they actually created the same amount of chances as we did in the second half. So that second half was a lot more like what we've seen at home this season, and we've got to change that next season. I think this season is more about just continuing to transition, find your system, but it's a shame that over the whole season really there hasn't really been that much development in terms of the way we play football at home, and I would have maybe liked to have seen something different. And yes, we did have that with a bit more width and something, and I think we should stick with that at home. But we still haven't blown a team away, and I'm not expecting us to. You know, we're not a fantastic championship side, but we should be beating teams at home, and we should be making it comfortable for ourselves, and we shouldn't be having to rely on bits of magic from James Maddison. We need our strikers to chip in with goals. We need our defenders to chip in with goals, as they have done, to be fair to them this season. And we just need to score more goals. It's as simple as that. But yeah, it wasn't the end of the world. I think Bolton defended pretty well second half. Not that we gave them much to do. We looked very solid defensively. Incredibly impressed with Christoph Zimmerman once again. There was a chance in that second half where they broke down the left, put in a good cross. I think it was from Marias. Gunn made a good save, and Zimmerman was just so composed in the box and then ran it out and almost created a counter-attack. He's looked brilliant. So defensively, we look good. The midfield, I've seen them have better games, but it still looks fairly solid. It's still that attacking department which needs improvement. And as I said, first 45 minutes, we did create chances, and at times we did look really good. And it was unlucky for us not to score. We hit the post, good saves. And on another day, we could have quite easily gone in half-time 3-0. So we just need that, luck to click. We need a game where we score a few goals at home, get the crowd behind us, and hopefully that will be good. I want you guys to let me know your thoughts on the weekend's game. Chris called it very dull. I thought it was second half. I thought he got that one right. But first half, I thought we were good. What did you think of it? Are you getting slightly frustrated with our home performances now? I think that's our 7th draw at home this season, all against teams we should really be beating. And it's been a fairly dull season for us at home. Away from home is a completely different story. But that home form is where you pick your points up and you start to climb the table. Ipswich wants to go above us. It's almost a mini league, isn't it, with us and Ipswich at the moment. And also let me know your thoughts on what content we should be creating. Unfortunately, no podcast this week. We have got, hopefully, a few really big guests lined up for the next couple of weeks. Chris is just settling into his new place, and we're trying to get that studio looking as good as possible and getting some more guests on board as well. Guests, who do you want to see? We're trying to get new guests every week and ones we haven't had before. If there's any guests we've had on before and you want to see again, let us know as well. But a 0-0 against Bolton. It's Barnsley up next, away from home. That's going to be an interesting one. Barnsley away is always a fun one. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the weekend's game down in the comment section below, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.